4, 3.
And we're back. Commencing, idiots. Sorry, I just can't get over that commercial that plays. Just touches my heart there.
Yeah, very soothing.
It's like a potato chip. It's like you kind of you just want a little bit. You can't just have one. You want to hear more and more Brian's voice. And
you want to put all of them in your mouth.
That's right.
All of the Brian in your mouth all at the same time.
Right. I get that.
That's right. So we were talking about that one Pokemon guy. I think is what we were talking about. No, but the Pokemon universe turns 25 in February. Is a big, a lot of celebrations, and they had streaming concerts and all these things. So you guys were talking about it's definitely prevalent in your homes right now with young kids. So
it's relatively new, as in like the past 6 months, right? Am I right, Nick? Around 6, 7 months, something like that.
For our kids?
Yeah.
For our kids, you mean? I'd say so. Yep.
And it's going strong. I mean, it's all the cards, the app where you go and you walk around and you throw the ball and you catch the guy and stuff.
Pokemon Go.
This is all new to me. Mm-hmm. I'll drive him around the lake, or we'll go walk around Lake Anna and catch the Pokemon. Or, for example, we'll be sitting there watching TV at night, and he'll come, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "What's wrong?" "Oh, there's a rare Pokemon over, a few blocks down." I'm like,
"That's a meth neighborhood. We're not going there."
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's like 7:30, and hell, it's just him and I.
But it's a Bulbasaur.
I go, "Put your coat on. Let's do it." What the hell? It's a couple blocks down, so I get in the car and we drive down and we park wherever so we can catch it. And I mean, it makes me happy to see him this excited into something,
Sure. Right.
Yeah. So, and then I have it on my phone, right? And Megan has it on her phone, because both our kids, enjoy it, and they don't have phones of their own. So we're, he'll play it. They have it on their tablets, but not on, they don't have phones. Linked to the same account. So her and I will be sitting at a bar with no kids, catching Pokemon for the kids. And yes, nice. I use quotation marks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I would rather a stranger look over my shoulder and see me looking at porn in public than see me catching Pokemon as a 40-year-old man. But that is my reality.
Yes. There's worse ones to have, my friend. There's worse ones to have.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my kids are very much into it. Same thing. I mean, within, like Dean said, within the past few months, we've got multiple decks of these cards. We're getting books for them. We have board games that involve the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, the apps, all that stuff. I mean, Pokemon was popular. I remember first taking notice of it when I was in grade school. I think grade school heading into like middle school. It was starting to get real popular, and the animated series was out. And I remember specifically there was a girl that I really liked at the time that was really into Pokemon. So I was going to make it my goal to like get into this, right? I was going to watch this show, was going to understand what it was about, and I was going to, get into this so we would have that common interest. And I woke up early in the morning before school because that's when Pokemon was on for some reason. It was, or at least at that time, so in that time slot before school, I would wake up early to turn it on and watch it. And I never understood it. I did a lot of the anime.
My
stuff.
reaction now.
Even like I tried Dragon Ball Z when that was popular. I just didn't understand it. There's just something that didn't, whatever click with me. But all the same, it's cool to see the kids could definitely be watching worse stuff. I mean, there's all these.
Right.
It's a brilliant. I've always thought it's a brilliant marketing thing. I mean, they've got all these different ones, and not only the different Pokemon, but then they evolve into different versions of themselves. And there's toys, and there's cards, and there's cards are worth a lot of money. And I had no idea when our kids started getting into these cards that was still a thing, because that was a thing when I was younger. The physical cards, I didn't know people still went nuts over this stuff. I knew about when Pokemon Go came out. That was a big deal, and everybody was walking around like zombies, looking at their phones, catching Pokemon everywhere outside. But I had no idea the cards were still such a massive thing. We went to Target to buy cards, and we were just looking at individual packs. And the guy behind the counter is like, "Oh, we have big boxes of them, like the thicker. They're like $15 for a big deck of cards. But as far as the individual packs are, like, they come out on Tuesdays, and there's like 15, 20 guys that come in here as soon as we open and literally buy all of them the second we get them in.
Let me tell you why. We found out that they sell them at the Dollar General, right?
Okay.
The little individual packs. Well, we were going to different Dollar Generals. Everybody is sold out. So we went to the last one, and I asked the guy behind the counter, I said, when do you get these in? All of you guys are sold out. He said, well, come to find out that over the past, I think he goes like 2 weeks ago, because we'd get them in, they'd sit on the shelves, they'd sell, but they were not like immediately. He goes, but 2 weeks ago, somebody, and he didn't say what state, could have been Ohio, but I can't remember exactly what state, that somebody got a one card in a pack that was worth $10,000.
Oof.
So after that, he said, we can't keep them all. Every Dollar General is just selling out because they are selling them cheaper than the other places. So and that's the store that they got it from was a Dollar General.
It's like a lottery.
Yeah.
Right. Some people's minds. Yeah.
Now currently McDonald's has them in Happy Meals right now. Pokemon.
Yes.
The
smart.
Yeah.
I looked up online for those, because him and I were looking at all that stuff. And so we looked up online, and the current McDonald ones, there is a couple of the Pikachus that are selling for going up to $100.
Wow.
For the one card. Yeah.
For
it's
a
interesting.
Pikachu?
Yeah.
I think we got one of those.
It's a something Pikachu. It's a hollow Pikachu or
okay. It's
something like that. Yeah, Carter got it. And I mean, he was very excited, but I tried to explain to him. I said, Carter, it's a piece of cardboard. Nothing's worth anything unless somebody's willing to buy it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You could have, the best stuff in the world, but if nobody wants it, ain't worth shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is worth what somebody's willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Value is subjective, really. Yeah.
Exactly. Sure. So I said, just because you have a card isn't $100 bill in your hand.
Right.
If nobody wants to buy it, it's worth the cardboard that it was printed on.
Yeah. If there's an overprint of them, all of a sudden it's not worth anything. They're everywhere. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you find comic book guy in a store, from The Simpsons, who's willing to pay you $600, well, then it's worth $600.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it's hard to tell. Just like baseball cards when we were kids. Right. I just went actually down the basement and found my stack of baseball cards and looking through them, and he's like, oh, those could be worth a lot. I'm like, nobody's going to pay for 25 different Joe Carter from the Cleveland Indian cards. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. But they might pay for I tickled an idiot sticker.
Oh, they definitely
watch for those.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely a T-shirt.
That's right. Yeah. I remember, so this is years ago. It was nice you guys do that with your kids and all that. Years ago, this is like probably 15 years ago. I can't think of what they were called, but they were stuffed animals that you would buy with different animals.
Beanie Babies.
No. And it had a tag, and inside the tag was like an online code. It was like a pet you had on the website. Web babies or web pets or something. I have to look this up. Peyton definitely had a few of those, but you would access the website, type the code in, and then all of a sudden the animal that you bought would be on the screen, and you do little adventures and things. You try to accumulate coins, and with the coins you can get different. You could build a habitat and furniture and all this stuff. So it made me smile. You talk about sitting in a bar capturing Pokemon. Back then, I would come home from work, and Peyton would say, hey, can you get onto the site? So I would log in and play these little kids games to try to rack up coins.
Nice.
So when Peyton would come over, then she had more coins, and she could spend the coins and buy little furniture and different things for the little things you do for your kids and all that.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
So Pokemon is probably here to stay for
for a bit.
So for several years, it's so inundated.
It's been this long. Yeah, I think it's kind of turned itself into a timeless thing.
One of the things that was once again, we can get off the Pokemon thing, but one of the things Nick had mentioned about people walking around aimlessly with their heads down. Somebody had mentioned that to me where driving around, they're like, "Oh, look at these idiots walking around. They're aimless and they're doing this." I thought to myself, at least they're out of their mom's basement.
Sure.
At least they're literally walking around. They're physically doing something. And you're making fun of them while you're driving your fat ass in a car making fun of them. That's right. And they're actually physically walking. So, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
All right. So, sorry, that was the last of it.
That's all right. So, just not much more here. It's getting late. The Golden Globes were Sunday, this past Sunday. It did make some negative press prior because the Hollywood foreign press members, there's 87 members that do all the nominations. There's no black people on the panels. That made some news, and I'm sure with the attention they'll change that up. But then the awards themselves, they did it all from home. In a way, it's kind of refreshing that these are famous people that are going through the same technology issues that we're all going through right now, where something doesn't work right and this and that. It's just kind of the world that we're in. But you guys mentioned off camera the ratings weren't that great. So certainly the things will get more normal. People will be able to congregate again, get back in the same room. However, this year, not many new movies and things came out. It impacted our award shows. Is it done? Is award shows done in general? Do people care about that as much?
Yeah,
or is it pick right back up again as soon as they're able to do it?
I think it will. I think, I enjoy award shows. Really, I didn't even realize the Golden Globes were happening this weekend until it was already had happened, and I, woke up Monday morning to see, headlines about it and things like that. But I enjoy award shows. I always really enjoy like the music award shows and things like that. I always watch those if I can. But yeah, I mean, if you're listening to a lot of music or you're watching a lot of TV, or you like these artists that are portraying characters or making art through music or whatever, any of those award shows, I mean, I don't know. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but like I like watching that stuff. It just so happened this year. I mean, it kind of seemed like, as I was looking over the results, I'm like, man, for a pandemic year, I feel like maybe I didn't really see a lot. Like I recognized like Soul and Schitt's Creek that I've watched and have watched, but I'm like, a lot of these things haven't seen or didn't really recognize what a lot of it was. But yeah, it's, I did hear that the ratings were not great on it and that there were some issues, but yeah, I don't think they're done, but I think it's a little dicey. I think just like when the pandemic started, Saturday Night Live tried to do a couple remote shows, and there were some sketches that lended themselves well to doing them remotely. But for the most part, it's not the same. You need them together to pull off some of the stuff. And like I said, some things worked out pretty well and lended themselves well, but most of the time, I think it'd be the same for award shows. You kind of really need, it's that cool thing of seeing everybody in the same room. It's a big to-do. Everybody's all done up, and all their esteemed colleagues are there clapping for them when, whoever wins. And so, yeah, I don't think it's done, but I think probably not pulled off quite as well in the current situation.
Yeah. Dean, what do you think? Do you care about the award shows at all or no?
I personally don't, but as long as they're selling People Magazine, Us Weekly, any of those celebrity magazines, there's always going to be the want or desire for those award shows.
Yeah. Any show, you're right. It does, when people can't be in the same room and they try to be entertaining, it does become questionable. Yeah. I'm joking because that's what we're doing right now. We'll get back to.
No doubt.
This is good from a distance.
It's good for the
very
distance
questionable too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so about the last thing we had some. There's a lady guy. That was a weird story. She had the dog kidnapping, which it's interesting what makes the news, I guess. But she had 3 French bulldogs. And some guy leaps out of a car, and a dog walker is walking the 3 dogs, tries to steal all 3, steals 2 of them, hurts the dog walker, actually shoots this poor woman. She's okay, apparently. And Lady Gaga offered a $500,000 reward for their dogs. Then they were returned last Friday by some mystery woman. So,
did the mystery woman get the money?
I think they're looking into that. I'm sure they're not just going to hand over money because I'm sure they're going to make sure that she's not
the
affiliated.
Money's on the front porch. Just leave the dogs there and take the bag of cash. Honor system. It'll be fine.
All this. So, and it had this whole uproar on social media about Lady Gaga's dogs and stuff like that. And it's just like, so there's some social, it's just people are huge Lady Gaga fans, right?
Oh, they were in favor of her.
Yeah. And they're like in favor of her. Yes.
Gotcha.
Get her dog. And there's definitely social commentary out there. Jimmy Kimmel mentioned this and others I know, but it's like, if people could rally around some cause that really matters, whatever you believe in. We're not saying we're this way or that way. Whatever you believe in, as long as you're not hurting anybody. I know us on this show, we could not care less. Okay, just don't.
Unless it's about pictures of my testicles.
Right, that you have to support that literally with your hands,
or your
well, they're big. I mean,
or your
what
forehead, perhaps, if you prefer.
And this far in your life, they got some hang to them, so they need support.
But if people could get behind
it, like the clacking balls.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But if you get behind a cause that would help people, the same energy of freaking out over Lady Gaga's dogs, I'm sure they're great dogs. We like Lady Gaga, right? I mean, she seems great. She's very talented. Yeah. I like Lady Gaga. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah.
And she's not asking for people to rally around her dogs either, necessarily, right?
Right.
It's just like, it's just, because society could be a little different than, hey, we would like to have equal voting. Let's stop all this law to stop people from voting or whatever it is. It's just it's hard. It's harder to get people to mobilize around stuff like that versus some of this stupid. So speaking of that,
you're hurting. Your kids can't eat.
That's right.
You got holes in your shoes. What about Lady Gaga and her dogs?
That's right.
Fuck you.
That's right.
Fuck you.
So it's ridiculous. But all I'll say on that is, if you really want to try to get to the bottom of this mystery, like our Convincing Idiot show, we'll keep you updated.
Everything.
We're on top of it. Yeah,
we are on the case. We'll keep you updated with every bit of information that we're aware of. So
lucky enough, we'll be on top of you.
That's right. Last thing I had, I know Dean, you got to go to bed. There is some exciting news in the technology of marijuana.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sex dolls.
No. That would be. I know that'd be the next best thing for you, but
a sex doll you could smoke weed out of,
dude.
Right?
See,
fucking banging the sex doll, smoking weed out of its mouth.
Sure.
Yep.
It could happen. So apparently, I didn't know all this stuff here.
It's gonna look like you, Nick. That doll's gonna look like you.
Yeah, just like the bobblehead. Like the bobblehead. That's good. That's hilarious. So, the visual was Nick mouth open with his head bobbing like a bobblehead. That's pretty funny. That's worth a video watching itself.
There you go.
So apparently there's this Delta 9 is the main ingredient in marijuana that gets you high. Now, I'm sure if you guys are marijuana buffs out there, you probably know all this information. Are probably mad at me for getting it wrong.
Some people tell me it's fun.
That's right. So there's a Delta 8, though. That's a derivative loophole. It's a derivative of the hemp that could be a loophole around the current marijuana laws. So if your state has not legalized marijuana for recreational use, this could be a loophole. So now they're taking this stuff and putting it in gummies and different things like that. So
that wouldn't show up on a drug test or whatever.
I don't know about that. But it's just a way that if your state, I think this seems to be where it's going. If your state does not allow it to be sold,
you basically can't be prosecuted.
You might
for
be
it or anything like that.
Yeah, you might be able to still get this other stuff here. So it's exciting news in the world of hemp.
Cool.
At this point here. So
I mean, but still, is it under the judge's discretion of
I don't know
what's considered?
It's like a farm law or something like that is what I read. It's like whatever. But this seems to fall outside of that currently defined criteria. Now, does it mean they won't be able to change the laws? I don't know how all that works. But,
well, I think like what you just said about the change of laws, I don't know, I think that they're going to have to look at it from a different point of view. There's been so much with every state going to either medical or recreational, all of these states. I think federally, if you want to go in and you're going to find a lawmaker that goes, I want to go ahead and change a law to include this 8, right? I think you're now going to have to take a step back and look at marijuana laws in general, and that might be the first or next step into decriminalizing all of it, taking the prohibition off of marijuana.
Now, what do you think? Should he keep it illegal or make it legal and say just to hell with it and just let people make their own decision? What do you think?
Marijuana, like all marijuana?
Yeah, in general.
Legalize.
Yeah.
First of all,
if alcohol, I mean, it's not worse than alcohol. Like,
not at all. Not at all.
No.
You tax it like alcohol. You regulate it like alcohol. The tax money that would come in would be insane. You put them in, you sell them in whatever packs that whatever you deem, however many, whatever.
Sure.
And you tax that shit. And that it's going to be a lot of tax money, because I used to work at a drive-thru when I was in my 20s. It's, you got your pajama wearing stoner driving through at 10 in the morning, but you also had your lawyer. You also had your teacher. I seen them all come through getting the rolling papers. We didn't sell weed, obviously, but we sell rolling papers. And what grown adult
rolling their own cigarettes and like watermelon paper?
Right. Well, I mean, the young kids were getting the blunts that they emptied out.
Yeah.
But
the
higher end people would come in, and higher end people, you know what I mean? Just higher end jobs would come in and get the papers, and you know what they were getting it for, and they would even do the eye shift and look away because they knew that you knew, and so it's prevalent. It's not even prevalent. It's common in society. It's bullshit that there's any sort of prohibition on it.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the avenue to legalize it completely.
Could be.
You put it in their face and you show them a mirror, they're going to now be forced to look at everything. Just my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
What do you think, Nick? You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's weird to me that it's not already. I kind of forget that it's not.
Right.
It's pretty much, there's only a handful of states where it's not legal recreationally. We just
Ohio's one.
To have the pleasure of living in one of them.
Yep.
It's been going on. It's been over 2 years since since Canada legalized it countrywide, and I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's weird to me that it's not here. It's just such a.
And wouldn't you know,
it's one of the.
Canada did not fall into chaos and debauchery.
Not at all. No.
Yep.
Look at that.
Chaos and debauchery I would say weed is very low on the list. It might be the lowest on the list as far as.
I was being facetious.
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, to the point of, there are people that think of it that way, that, it's a drug and it's, like high is high and who knows what, these people are probably people who have not done many drugs or even tried weed or even understand what it's like to smoke weed in any capacity. But I mean, it's just, it's silliness. It's of the things that we are able to do.
I'll send you to church and you can diddle my kid, but stay off that weed.
Right.
Yeah. Hypocritical fuck.
Yep. The one drawback, Dean, would be there'll be more get-togethers at Nick's where he'll go to bed early.
That is a possibility.
That is 100% true.
You may have to sacrifice some Nick time.
True.
But yes. Yeah, that's very possible.
We just might have to try different kinds to make them stay awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Does this new strand have some? See, that's the other thing. The great thing about legalizing is, there's dispensaries where you can go and you can pick your high. I want a little energy. I want to go to sleep. I want to eat. I want to just relax. I want to think. I want to, whatever. You can pick it's a choose your own adventure. That's a cool thing to do. I mean, it's also safer for people to be able to go somewhere legal and by people who are licensed to do this professionally to pick out your high and pick your experience rather than, yes, for the most part, like Dean mentioned, it's very prevalent in society. A lot of people, most people know at least one person or more that either grows or sells, and you trust them and you're getting, but how many hands does it change? Who knows? It's very easy to lace weed with different things. It's a little more dangerous.
You legalize it, you take that out.
Right. You take that element away. Right. Yes.
Yep.
And you're enabling people to choose to be more responsible about it, to pick what
Correct.
they're, how they're using it. So, yeah, it's ridiculous that it's not already, but I think it's a matter of time. It won't be much longer before it is everywhere.
We don't even have to mention the medical properties that it,
right.
pain wise and the nausea for people that they're going through chemo that can't eat. That the only way they can get an appetite is to smoke weed.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Go ahead.
I was just to say it's a natural remedy. That's why it's a no-brainer. Go ahead.
And I do apologize about anybody listening or you two. Normally I want to make dick jokes and fart jokes, but kind of did get a little worked up on this subject, didn't I?
No, it's good. It's good though.
It just like that. It annoys me that it's illegal. It's just absurd.
It'll be interesting. Honestly, in a weird way, maybe going through the pandemic, you might see more legalization because states need to try to find different ways to recover.
Right.
Like you say, gaining the tax dollars and all of that. They may not be thrilled from a personal moral perspective, but they look at it as an opportunity to make money and use that for other useful things within the states that are hurting. Yeah, you never know. It'll be kind of interesting. Or frankly, some of the current old leadership will eventually retire or die off, and you'll get people, from my generation and your guys' generation eventually will get into power, and then attitudes change, things change, and that's maybe it'll require some of that as well. But I think it'll be legal, eventually everywhere. But anyway, that's the main pop culture headlines that I had here, gentlemen. I know it's we all got to work early. We're all busy dads and things like a lot of you guys out there. So good story to wrap up on. Good topics.
Yep.
Interesting dialogue. So
let's smoke some weed and go to bed.
Yeah, there you go. Get some gummies.
Right.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Nick, you remind the folks where they can find us and.
Yes. Well, as always, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook by searching Convincing Idiots. If you'd like to get a hold of us via email, that's convincingidiots@gmail.com. Be sure to look us up as well on Instagram. That's @convincing_idiots. Twitter @convincingIdiot, singular. On TikTok @convincingidiots with the S as well. And we're available wherever you like to listen to podcasts. So just ask your home assistant device to play the Convincing Idiots podcast, and they should lead you right to us.
That's right.
So,
and everywhere that Nick just said, find us and send in questions for Q&A deals that we're going to do on the podcast in the future. On the last episode, we asked or we answered some Q&A questions, and we'd like to do that some more. So ask questions. We'll answer anything.
Thank you, Dean. I'll just add Nick before you sign us up. If you like our stuff out there, again, we appreciate our fans. Thank you so much. If you do listen, we're still very small. We're trying to, make something of this and just having fun. It's a way for us to keep connected and stay in touch, all that, and have some fun. So if you like our stuff, give us a share. We appreciate that. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Share it. You could just share us online. Don't bother your friends if they're not interested. But give us a share. Give us a like, and we appreciate that. That's how we grow a little bit here. So thanks for your support out there.
And forget about us. Call your mother. She misses you.
That's right. That's right.
We do appreciate your support, and get out there and tickle an idiot. Why don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So for another episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm Nick.
I'm Dean.
I'm Brian.
Have we convinced you to help us find who took Lady Gaga's dogs?
Mm-hmm.